Jim Roche. Everybody, please. This is exciting. Thank you all. Please sit down. Relax, sit down. Okay, this is, honestly, for me, this is exciting. I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con for 28 years, okay? And this is the one panel I didn't know that I wanted to do more than anything else I've done for 28 years. And honestly, I got a chance to meet some of the folks we've been talking, and this is going to be your chance to meet them as well. I think that's what makes this a lot of fun, is getting to know the people you've been watching and enjoying so much. But Rich, I'm going to start with you. You've done so many shows. This is your first Comic-Con. How has it been for you to come here, and what's been like?
Well, we talked earlier, Dan, about the fact that, I've gone to New York, which is pretty amazing. Then we came here, and it's completely overwhelming. It must be, 3 or 4 times larger than the New York Comic-Con. And it's so impressive, all the stuff that's outside the building as well as everything that's inside. And when we were walking through yesterday, you could barely move in those aisles. And the thing is, for the most part, everybody's real nice. People are dodging in front of you, but nobody's getting mad, except one guy. We were standing out there, and we were trying to decide which way we wanted to go, and he's like, "That's great, you're standing there blocking the way, that's a real good idea, thank you." So we killed him.
That's the Chicago way. And Sarah, is this your first show as well?
First ever year at this Comic-Con. I know it's very exciting. Usually I'm on the outskirts lurking from the convention outside, but I've never been inside before, so this is great. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm going to go back to you for a second, Sven. This is the first time, everybody, that you guys have all appeared together.
That's true, yeah.
Which is kind of amazing.
In front of you folks by ourselves as ourselves. And also we're hoping someday in the future maybe we'll be here in makeup, maybe.
There you go. And Scott, how about you? First show?
This is my first, yeah.
And have you done any kind of conventions before, or is this the first show you've done?
I did C2E2. I've gone to C2E2 and I do puppets, and there was a puppet segment that I did there. It was a Star Wars puppet segment that I participated in, yeah. I did the Star Wars.
And Bill, do you get out much? Do you get, by the way, Bill doesn't know.
No, Dan, I get out much.
I know the answer to that, so I probably shouldn't have done it.
You get out much. Yeah, his keeper lets him out every day.
I'm gonna get off topic for a second. Bill has a toy collection that I just found out about. Did you know this? Bill, how many toys do you have?
Just under 30,000 figures. Very lucky. Yeah, I'm a man-child, and I collect toys and action figures and love to display them. But if you guys are ever in Chicago, come by. I'm looking at
And Jim, since you're here, I have to ask you a question.
Here he comes.
No. What's it like, and how's it been working? You and Rich have been working together so long together. You've watched the show grow and grow. Has it been surprising to you? How do you feel about just the level of excitement and attention that you guys throw out every time you go out and see the fans?
Well, I can't say it's a surprise, because you've seen the shows, and when I see these people together and what they do is magical. When you see it on TV, it's magical when it happens in the studio. It seems pretty natural. I think there's nothing big about it at all.
How about you, Rich? Okay, first thing you ever learned about Rich is he's probably one of the most humble people you've ever met.
And don't forget it.
And you always seem surprised. You always come to me and say, I can't believe all these people showed up. Are you starting to get used to it yet, or no?
Not really. I have to say, I'm always amazed. I'm amazed. Look, this room is full. And I'm today. I'm used to being in Chicago for so many years. And there, people know me with or without makeup. And, we get lots of people showing up to appearances. When we first went to New York, I was like, boy, I don't know if people are going to know me or not. And we had a great turnout there. And that last time that we were there, it was unbelievable. They had lines going all the way around the place waiting to come see us. And even this, coming here and being able to see this, this is all foreign country to me. I've never been here before. And to be able to come here and see so many people that want to come and say hello, that's really amazing to me. I'm just overwhelmed by it.
Here's what I had a chance to do. We were working on the comics. First one I was at DC. We did the 40th anniversary with the DC characters being Svengoolie. Then we did the two specials. We did the first special, which was a lot of fun, and then we did the second special where everybody got a chance to participate, which even made it more fun. I want to get into a little bit here because I'm going to ask you guys, I want honest answers from you right now. How many people here submitted a tape as part of the talent search? There you go. We're going to find out why you lost, okay?
Worst thing show ever.
I'm sorry, that was the New Yorker in me, I apologize. But you did have the talent search, and first things first question to you, Rich, is characters like Tombstone and Body Sorrell, were they upset you were looking for additional talent? Were they concerned that they were getting pushed aside? How did you manage those guys while this was all going on?
When they heard about it, they held out for more money. And in fact, we never paid them anything. So. No, there's certainly room for them because they're different kinds of characters from the folks we have here.
And now I want to go to Sarah. What made you decide to submit a reel? And did you ever think you were going to get chosen as one of the members of the Sven Squad?
No, but I always was a fan of horror hosts, and that was my main thing, and I was obsessed with them for quite some time where I started doing my own YouTube channel of horror hosting, because I just didn't think they were around anymore. They were really popular from the 50s to the 1980s, and then they just kind of slowly vanished out of nowhere. So I didn't think there was a platform for it anymore. So I went to YouTube, which is kind of like the modern day public access channel, and I was doing my shtick there, and then I found out, believe it or not, I was in charge of Killer Clowns from Outer Space at Halloween Horror House. Good show, I love that film. And I got a text message from one of my friends who performs with me at Universal Studios, and he plays Dracula, out of all things. And he goes, "Have you seen this audition?" And I looked at it, and it's The Search for Spawn and Svengoolie, and my stomach dropped, and I think I kind of knew right then and there, this is my only chance to ever become something close to a horror host, and to also work with Svengoolie. And I went, the first thought though was, he's still around? All right. So that's how it started. And then I submitted my audition tape. I have a funny story about you answering it though too.
Well, we're gonna get back to that. I want to ask Scott now about you. You were from the Chicago area.
That's right.
So how much did you know about the show? And then when it came about, how quickly did you apply?
I mean, since Sven is my uncle, it was easy.
No! Tell your story.
The two things I love, especially about the Nosferatu, is just the chemistry between the Nosferatu and Svengoolie.
Yeah.
It's how much is that scripted? How much is that not scripted? It seems like you guys are having more fun than us guys.
All right, so I know most of you are way too young to get this reference, but there was a radio show called The Jack Benny Show for years and years. He was just the most gifted comedian of all time. And Jack Benny had this way on his show where they would just bring in all these characters and they would just bounce off each other. And Rich has that magic where he's Jack Benny. So nostalgia front.
Now, cut that out.
I'll cut that out. So most of it is scripted, not all of it is scripted, but we have a great time, not just Rich, but all four of us, making each other laugh, and hopefully that translates and it makes you laugh. Because when it works, it's magical, you know?
Yeah, and if I can say, I always was a huge fan of the Jack Benny show, both the radio and TV shows. And I thought that was perfect because, he was the quote lead character, but he had all these other great characters who would come in and, always get the better of him. And I thought, what could work better than that? And it certainly has.
Yes, I'm sorry, did you get a question?
Dan,
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's commercial time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Chip's the producer here, so I have to get this along and we have to take a commercial break.
Svengoolie's Halloween Bonanza returns. Great, I hear there's a lot of buzz about it.
Sven, I know you're in here somewhere.
Silence! Buzz, go on please, I am all ears as you can clearly see.
Our Saturday night double features are back, featuring mid-CD premieres like...
You better keep your mouth shut.
And some other surprises too. Happy Svengoolie's Halloween Bonanza to all who celebrate.
Yes, Jim, another question.
Now we need to run the sad dog commercial.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I have type 2 diabetes and I manage it well. Well, I do.
And what's been great about Bonanza was the introduction of House of Svengoolie, which I think is actually about to start in 10 minutes. Again, did everybody check your beat? Did you have it set for House of Svengoolie instead of Svengoolie? Because I made that mistake once, never again. Okay, so make sure we're taping out there. The House and Svengoolie, double duty for you.
Well, it's not double duty for me. It's giving me a break and not have to do 2 movies for a double feature. It's great because they get a lot of different movies that normally would not fit in what we consider the Svengoolie My Show genre. And it's great because some of them are a little more edgy, and I think that works on our behalf, especially since it runs a little later most of the time. And it's great, and these guys do such a great job. I have a lot of fun watching them, and it's a lot of creative stuff that I really appreciate.
That's great. I'm going to go to Gwen for a second. Now I'm going to call you Gwen now. I'm seeing something here. I'm going to go to Sarah for a second. And Sarah, I want to ask you, Rich touched upon a little bit about what you brought to the tape and a lot of personality both you and Scott brought in the creation of your character. How much of that have you brought in? How much does that come from just working with the others? How did you design and come up with Gwengoolie?
Obviously I'm a big fan of vintage things, and that's just what I'm kind of around all the time. And the original horror host, Vampire, she was the first one, she aired in 1951. So I kind of wanted to pay homage to them where it all began. So I knew I wanted something from the 50s and 60s, and I remember trying to figure out what color I should be represented as. And they were like, you can't do red, Sven is red. I'm like, fine. I think I look quite good in red, but you can have it. And so I was thinking, and one day I was on YouTube, as I do, I always tell you that, and I was watching the original Jerry G. Bishop as Svengoolie. If some of you don't know, there was one before him, his daddy. And I was looking at him, and his look had this 1960s, 70s, very hippie look with this, striped bell bottoms, goatee, glasses, and this vibrant green long hair. And I went, that's the color. That's it right there. So if you guys are wondering why I have, obnoxious green streak in my hair or these obnoxious green gloves that you like to call my dishwater gloves, it's because of Jerry G. Bishop and it's a nod to him of that. So that's where
First of all, they told me I couldn't wear red either. I should have been red as well. That's the first thing they said.
Who told you guys this?
We're not allowed to say. Yes, I know. No, imp is me, most definitely. It is, I'm the jokester, the prankster, the mischief maker in real life. So if you come to me and you have a question and you want a serious answer, you better tell me you want a serious answer, because otherwise you're going to get a bunch of baloney to say. And that's translated to my character, of course, and being on set. Even just this last week, if I may say, we filmed one of Gwen's, Sarah's segments where there was a piñata. And when there is piñata, there is candy. And so the candy kind of went all over the dungeon, and of course I thought, as Scott, I should help and clean this up before our next take, blah, blah, blah. I had 2 handfuls of candy, and I thought, what to do with these? So I put them in Sarah's shoe.
I wondered where they came from. They must have just fell in there, and he's just looking at me with that stinker face of his.
I'm going to go into a second. we're going to talk about marbles for a second, because
Oh, sure.
when we built the Svengoolie comic, we did for the 45th anniversary, when you wrote your little story, you introduced marbles into the story itself, and then I started to see them appearing on the show. And I heard you built marbles.
That's right, Marbles is one of my creations, yeah.
That's awesome. Is that something that you enjoy doing? Is that something you had in mind from the start, or how did that come about?
I've been doing puppetry through all of my cabaret and live entertainment acts, and so it just seemed like a natural fit along with some of the other characters that have been on the original Svengoolie. And when we were invited to participate and contribute to this incredible, momentous comic book, and they told us so casually, you know, we were getting into costume and then someone just opened my curtain in my little dressing room, but it's just a curtain actually. And they said, would you like to write something for the comic? And yes. And then they closed the curtain and like, that's it? That's all you're gonna give me? And So then I was like, so what do I write? And I wanted to do sort of an origin story. And that's where Marbles came about, from the magic of that story.
And the look of him, is that something you helped design, or how did that come together as well?
Actually, we were very fortunate, at least I don't know, Sarah, if this was the same process for you, but when we were contracted, we actually got to sit down with our costume designers and they asked us what we'd like. And I went all out. I was like, I want prosthetics, I want horns, I want ears, I want wings. I had a whole list, and they said yes, yes, and yes. Which sometimes I regret, because that's a lot of glue that has to come off after every. And so I'm over the sink for quite a while, just kind of getting all the gunk out.
At least you got to talk about it. I did. I just showed up on air and I went, that's the outfit, I guess. I'm stuck in it now. They aired my audition tape whenever I first appeared. So now I'm locked in that costume, which means a strapless dress, which means I have to paint myself every time. And it is a process, let me tell you.
And speaking of lots of glue, Bill.
Yes.
What does it take to put that nostalgia Baratu costume together? That
It's
seems
an
like
hour to get it ready, it's an hour to take it off. The nails take a long time to get ready. But then I think about all the people that I went to high school and college with, and I think none of them are dressing up like an 800-year-old vampire today, just me. It makes it very easy, actually.
That's awesome.
The best thing about Natsu's costume are the teeth. Boy, we love those teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So the guys will, I hope, remember this on several occasions, because I forget the teeth are in, and we'll break for lunch, and I'll be having a sandwich or something, and then you just hear someone go, did a tooth just fly by me? What was that? They break very easily, they come out of my mouth really easily. So I'm always tempted to ride the train back home.
And Rich, going back to you, how much input did you have in the creation of those characters? Did you look at your own character and what you wanted to play off of? Did you see things that we needed on the show, the types of voices? Did you look at the whole picture of things as it was coming together?
Well, basically, like I said, when I saw these guys, they pretty much had their act together, and they knew what they were doing. I think my main contribution was actually naming the imp, Ignatius Malvolio Frankenstein, which his initials, get it? But, you know, they developed their own characters, and as we've been doing it, I think they evolved a little bit every time, and it's all going in the right direction.
I'm going to go to Jim for a second. When the new characters, get all these new characters coming on set, how did that change the dynamics of making the show?
Oh, not at all, it's the same. Well, you gotta remember that it was a show with one host, one character, pretty much forever. I mean, this is, what are you, 46 years doing this now? Yeah, it's all been him and some puppets. And so it's quite different. There's multiple cameras, there's different, you know, things that, as far as lighting and blocking and all these other things. And it's a big deal.
But it's a testament to Rich, who did it so well for so long, to allow the three of us to play.
I think we talked about it, but we'd be remiss not to say Chris Faulkner plays an important role in everything that's created with the show.
Yeah, I was going to mention the fact that too, the edits are very different. When you have multiple camera shoots and things of that nature, you have to direct it differently, and then the editing part of it is completely different and much more complex. And Chris Faulkner, who's been with the show for a long, long time, is absolutely amazing. He's a magician, and he makes everything look good.
Yeah, as I always say, he makes everything much better than I even thought of. He's so talented and so meticulous, and he's got a great eye for detail. And it's gotten to the point now where a lot of times when I write stuff, I don't have to give him certain instructions about what I want to see or how it should go. He knows we work together enough that we have that sort of symbiotic relationship. And there's nobody better. You know, people see our show and they think, you know, wow, it's a national show, so there's, you know, 25, 26, 80 people working on it. I got news for you. There's me, there's Jim helping out there, there's Chris Faulkner, and then there's an audio person, and somebody to run the teleprompter. That's it. People always said, oh, writers, you have Buddy and Sally in the back room. No, this is not true. It's such a compact, small operation that maybe that's one of the reasons we're still around, because it can't be that expensive.
Oh, it's not.
And also, not here, but so integral, is Doug.
Doug, yeah. Doug Graves is in Doug's chart. Amazing music.
Your act as well. And is that something that you worked in with other jobs and other professions, or is this something you finally get to bring to the camera here?
I was a musical theater kid, but I never sang in front of cameras, let alone an audience before, so this was something kind of scary for me, and why I did it for my audition, I will never know, you know. I remember I came in and I had you sing a duet with me, and that was our audition. It was for Kolchak, the Night Stalker. And I was so nervous, and we have no rehearsal. We were just going into it so blindly, and I remember putting my arm on your shoulder, and I heard gasps from everybody. No one's ever touched him before. And I was like, oh, this is serious. So I didn't work out. They're weird, and they won't let me wear red. I hate it. But I feel like it's always been part of everything that I do, and it's also part of what horror has always done. Parodies of music or any sort of thing has always been a tradition, and I kind of want to keep that going. It's always been a tradition of Rich, too, so.
And Rich, we're going to go back for a second before moving to the others. Just making those parodies. It's got to be easy to write those songs. Does it take you an hour or 2 hours to put those things together?
You know, I just had A time for 5 minutes. Doing the songs is one of my very favorite things. And it takes one. It's a weird process, because first of all, we used to do all sorts of popular songs, but now, because everybody sues people, we have a public domain songs. So I'm lucky that I can figure out enough of them. And what happens is I'll find some song that I think will work, and a lot of times it's nothing that would be related to what's in the movie, but I have just an idea for maybe a line or something. And the first thing I do is figure out how much of it we're going to do. I let Doug know how much of it we're going to do, and he starts making the track. And once we get, and then I write the words. And when we get into the studio, we rehearse it maybe once, and then record it right away. And it works out real well. One of the things I love about it is when the words all work right, when they're similar to the original lyrics to it, and when it works and the rhymes work. That's my favorite thing. I really enjoy doing that. And having Doug play and Natalie play just really adds to it. And I think down the line we need to do more duets.
Absolutely.
That's it. And Scott, you've done music videos on the show.
He's done songs too.
Yeah. Well, my life is a musical.
You should hear him in the morning getting ready. It's like Barbara Streisand today, huh? It's all the divas.
Energized. Yeah, when we first started writing, because we write our own scripts as well, which is, I mean, incredible freedom, the creative freedom to be able to do that, and to find our voices and to get to learn each other's voices, I think, is important for our connection and our energy. But when we first started writing, they sort of hinted at, take a look at what Sven's doing, and you can sort of homage that into your scripts. So we have like the trivia section that Sarah does, we have some game shows, and then the music. So it made sense to add the music in. And when Sarah and I, actually, when we auditioned, before we knew there were going to be multiple hosts,
We were enemies.
we were enemies. We happened to audition back to back. And so the casting people said, hey, why don't you both stick around and just improv something in the dungeon together? And of course, it was sort of like, do we get along?
Don't screw this up for
What's
me.
gonna happen? Yeah, exactly. And that worked out so well. And then, of course, when we learned that we had a love for music together, it's just been sort of a natural fit to continue to make music for as many episodes as possible.
That's great. Now, Bill, I heard that you're not musical.
If I'm singing or dancing in an episode, something has gone horribly wrong.
But from what I understand, now this is what I just learned in the green room before coming in here. I found out that you play drums in a motion picture. So in Major League, you know that Bill was in Major League?
Yeah. Thank you. Wow. There's a thread throughout Major League and Major League 2 a fan base that starts out very small, and then as Cleveland's team gets better, the fan base gets bigger. So I'm the guy who sings Wild Thing to Charlie Sheen. Thank you.
If you write Bill into one of your songs, you might get an email that says, "Not today, Scotty."
So you never thought about bringing that whole drum routine into the show in any way, shape, or form?
It shouldn't be near music, Dan. It's not good for anybody. It's dangerous.
And Rich, there's so many great segments on the show. And one of the ones I really enjoy watching is Two Drawn Out. That's something I feel like I'm a little kid again trying to figure out. What are your favorite segments? With Sarah, Scott, and Bill, now that you have House of Svengoolie, all the things that you're bringing now, you're trying, because I imagine you're adding larger segments, more in there. What are you starting to bring to that show that you wanted to, now that you have more time to do, that you're looking to bring to the series?
Ooh, I know. On my YouTube channels, I would have random hands of monsters, and like, you always heard like the monsters in the closets, right?
Right.
They would help me with my makeup tutorials or whatever, and hand me brushes and mess it up all the time. I believe my audition, I had one in there, and hand me a little drink, and I spit it out. But I've now added to the segment where we give like the biography
Trivia.
yeah, the trivia about the movie. I started adding these skeleton hands because, Gwen is just dead. She's from the graveyard, and I thought, I need some help here to, talk about things. And I came up with these things called the graveyard groupies, and you'll start to see skeleton hands start popping up. And that's what you're talking about, the piñata recently, where I said something about Mexico, and a piñata comes in, and the skeleton hands have the break down the piñata. And they do something different every time, so I call them my graveyard groupies. And I was like, so I'm trying to develop more puppet ear things to come out of nowhere. But you never see who's doing it. It's just
That's awesome. How about you, Scott?
I've been enjoying doing some of these like montages of my past, sort of building out the lore of him.
Sure.
So doing a little bit of, he was raised by chupacabras, and you hear his mom's voice, but what was that story? Why the chupacabras if his mom was around? What's that story there? So I'm enjoying flashbacks a lot, and our editing team is like brilliant whenever they take it back and they make it grainy and they have this like special 80s feel to it. I love it.
That's awesome. How about you, Bill?
I wrote a segment, I think only one or two have aired, or one or two are airing tonight. It's called Nasty's Nook, where I interview celebrities or people that are in some of the movies we show, and my interview skills are just god-awful. I mean, I can do it in real life, but in character it's more fun, to have the guest just not have any idea why you submitted to this. Hopefully we'll do more of those.
I gotta ask now, because you're doing double duty between now you've got House of Svengoolie and you got this out in a little cartoon material. Do you have a hard time choosing where the jokes might land, or do you ever get confused between the two? Do you get a little schizophrenic there? Do you start talking to yourself in two different voices? What happens?
My wife will tell you I'm more like Nostalgia Ferratu than I am like Bill, the cartoon curator. So I'm trying to find some happy medium, to find both. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because on any given week, we'll shoot Svengoolie for a couple days, and I'll shoot Continue With Me for a couple days. And I have to remind myself, this is the gentler version, this is the harsher version. So hopefully that comes through all right on TV.
That's awesome. And Jim, in the two shows between Svengoolie and House of Svengoolie, are you involved in both of those?
Yeah, but much more with Svengoolie, but I still have my hands in the other one too. It's fun to be around, and it's fun to watch them, on their own. They're grown up; they can handle it.
And Rich, House of Svengoolie has Svengoolie in it. So how do you manage your time on that? Do you look at doing different types of these? Is it more of an introduction, or are you there to help support the cast going forward?
Well, I think what happens is they actually come up with things for me to do, and they have the input on that, and it seems to work very, very well. I have not, usually when they're on my show, I write the bits for them, and Jim also will write some of those. And it's just, again, we've learned how to do the repartee and to, really serve their characters well, to really bring out all the fun stuff.
That's great. That's great. And the movies being chose for House of Svengoolie, you said they are a little different. How is it a different list of movies or things that you've passed on in the past that you've moved over to the new show?
A little of both, because we've gotten lists that have been sent to me from one of the big shots, and we look at it, and it's like, can't run this, oh, can't run this. And then I'll go through it and I'll see if there's a few that they can run with maybe a little bit of changing and censorship. But like I said, it's bringing a new edge to the show, and they're pulling it off real, real well.
And I'm sure everybody's helped you from going from a 2-hour show to a 2.5-hour show. And anybody else? I actually enjoy the 2.5-hour show. This is a lot of fun. We want to see you guys. So that's the thing that's more, and that means more of you on that. And because of that, is it more pressure on you to get these things done? Does everybody help you pull this together?
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure to expand it. The idea was that our management was very happy with the ratings, and how about another half-hour of ratings? And it will enable us to do longer movies that we never would have been able to do because, I didn't really want to edit the living hell out of them. I wanted to, you don't want to lose the story. I've always been very careful when I edit the movies, and I try to take out, we've taken like 8 seconds here and 7 seconds there to try to make it work time-wise. I never want to affect the plot at all. So it's pretty important to me that we maintain that, and I will be able to run some of these longer movies. But then, as long as we've been on, we have such a huge backlog. Backlogs? I just get into the backlogs, and then that becomes the main house. Backlog of material. So we can go back and find stuff that maybe a lot of people haven't seen, because somebody even goes before we went national. And a lot of times, Jim is responsible for finding a lot of that stuff along with Chris Faulkner. And they managed to find it to make every show end perfectly, time-wise, no matter how long the movie is and some of the other bits in there.
Now I have to ask, because you just said something that I never heard you say before. You're involved in the editing of the movies as well. You're there looking at them to see where the cuts should be made, or you want that. So you're involved in the process. That's a long day.
Well, I don't do it all in one day.
Okay.
But yeah, what happens is I'll screen the movies, and as I'm screening them, I take real, deliberate notes about what's in there. So I'll know later when I look at it what will spark a bit. And I break it down usually on the first viewing of it so that I have all the segments done. And when we need to take time out of them, a lot of times I can go in and find certain things to take out. And Chris will also do that. If it's not a great deal of time, he'll find little ways to get to it.
That's great. Okay, well, we're getting close to the end of the panel. I'm getting my little signal there. What I'd like to do is open up some questions. Do we have any questions for you, Cam? Let's just yes, we do have questions. All right. Let's get on the line behind the mic and let's see how many we can get to these as quickly as. I'll make sure you get in there, sir. I'll make sure.
Okay, this is one question. This is 6 degrees of separation. Way back in 1983, I was in a choir in junior high school in Buena Vienna to compete. We got booked on a local show here called Sun Up San Diego. Jerry, you're there.
Yes, my mentor and friend who was the original Svengoolie.
Yes.
He spent many years here on radio and TV. He owned a restaurant.
Yeah.
He loved it here.
Yeah. So that was the degree of separation between you and I.
Very cool.
Next one.
Thank you. I grew up in Chicago. Not Berlin, Chicago. there's a connection to Svengoolie here in San Diego. Jerry G. Bishop had a restaurant walking distance from here. What role did he play in you, for you personally, in terms of developing the character? Did you just pick it up from him, or did you develop it more? And what influence did he have, and does he still have?
Well, he was the one who decided that I should be son of Svengoolie. It was his idea, and that blew me away. What an honor, and him to have the confidence that I could pull it off. And basically, what I did was I took parts of his character and basically added it to my own personality. And he never said you should do this or you should do that. He wasn't instructing me on it at all. He just kind of said, go ahead and do that. Use these sound effects that I've used before, and that was it. And the thing is, I always want to say this: what a generous man he was, because he never asked for anything from me. He was more than happy with what I did. I know he was very proud of what I did, and that meant a lot to me. He handed the keys over to the franchise to me, and that was great.
Sorry, right over here.
Since we're talking about your do you have any footage of when he was doing it? And if so, have you showed any of this during, now your 2.5 hours of the show? Because it would be interesting. I mean, I was in Chicago when he was doing
Sure.
it and everything, so it'd be kind of fun to see it.
Yeah, there's just a few things of his that survived, and there's one guy that tricked him into sending him some of the few tapes he had and promising that he was going to duplicate them and sell them and give Jerry half the money, and Jerry never saw any of the money. But a lot of the stuff has shown up on YouTube and places like that. The problem with us running it is it's from a different company. And, it's the whole, we could be sued type thing, unfortunately. But I would love to. And I mean, there's stuff in there, with me in it. But, yeah, it's a shame we can't really show it. But look on YouTube. You can find a lot of this stuff.
Right now, okay, back to the questions. There you go.
Hi, I'm Nico Holtz. I've been watching Svengoolie for a while. How do you keep the classic horror house tradition fresh while honoring icons like Elvira and Vampire? And is anyone planning to go to HHN 34 in Hollywood or Orlando?
I think I understood half of that. That was good. Yeah, but with respect to the hosts that have gone before me, I know what they did, and I see, the things that worked. And especially the biggest influence was Jerry, as his Svengoolie. And the great thing is, when he was doing his, he didn't always have the best movies. We've been so fortunate to get these Universal movies and some of the other higher echelon ones. And the one thing I really like about that is, in a lot of cities, those movies had not aired on broadcast TV in over 20 years before we showed them. So it's introducing them to a new generation, and I'm very happy to be able to, reopen that door for a lot of people. And what was the last part about going to where?
Going to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, well, that's not my call.
That should go to Sarah.
Yes, and you may hear my voice in some of the mazes.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring us to that new one in Orlando, Dark Universe.
Yes.
Dark Universe when hell freezes over. So,
Next question.
So, question for the panel. What first sparked your love of classic horror movies?
Want to go down the line?
sure. The first horror movie I ever saw was King Kong. And as a child, I was very afraid about watching. My parents were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And I was just captivated by it. And as I got older, I discovered the Universal stuff and some of the other great movies, and just really got into it. I got into it from not only the aspect of the writing and the acting, but the makeup and the effects. And that just all got ingrained in me and became, not an obsession, but a real big part of it, of what I was interested in.
How about you, Sarah?
There was a Rankin Bass
last movie that came out, and I think in 1967. And I saw it when I was a kid. And usually they're known for, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. But little do you know, they actually had a Halloween version one. It's called Mad Monster Forever. If you want to know where Gwengoole's personality comes from, it's Francesca. Absolutely.
And Scott.
I had an uncle who was left to babysit my cousins and me, and he would put on horror. And I remember the first thing we watched together was Critters, and ever since then.
We went to the drive-in nearly every Sunday when I was a kid, and we watched double features or triple features of horror movies, and then we'd drive home and I would lay awake in bed for hours.
Well, definitely the original Svengoolie, Jerry G. I watched him when I remember seeing Night of the Living Dead for the first time on that show. And it was great to see it and then have it accented by humor, which made it tolerable. It was fun, and I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. And then I met, what's his name down there?
Right there. Next question.
Hello. Hey, how soon was it after casting when you were developing the characters that Nasti's character became sort of the butt of all of the sketches, and where Sarah and Scott would just roll their eyes, no, Nasti's doing something idiotic. How did that develop immediately?
Yeah, look at him.
Okay, because Nasty does a heck of a Chewbacca impersonation. Remember that funniest clip? That's all.
Great, thank you. Next question.
Hi, Ray. I know you've been a guest in the show before, but is there any chance of a future collaboration with The Last Ride Day and Jobo Briggs?
Say that again.
You've been on the show before with The Last Ride Day with Jobo Briggs. Jobo?
Oh, Jobo Briggs.
Yeah. Jobo, is there any chance you'll probably do something there?
Yeah, we had such a great time working with him, and he brought us out last year to his drive-in jamboree right outside Las Vegas, in which we ran Universal horror movies all night long, literally. And let me just say, I'm getting a little old for all-nighters. But he's a great friend, and we get along real well, and we're always talking about, he always says, we need to do more stuff together. So I'm hoping that we will, because he's an incredible, smart man, and he knows how to write, and he knows how to be funny, and it's always great to work with him.
Excellent. Next one, we only have time for a couple more. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to try to get as many as we can.
Thank you for coming to San Diego, and I'd like to ask, will we be seeing more Svengoolie?
That I don't know. Does anybody have any input on that?
No, I don't know either, Rich.
Yeah.
It's been talked about, but we don't know anything conclusive yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one.
Hi, my name is Angel. Could you please say hi to my parents, Junior and Sandy?
Hi, Junior and Sandy.
And my question is, I just got engaged right before San Diego. What movie would you suggest that we watch during October, because we wanted to have bachelorette parties for that time?
Okay. Bride of Frankenstein.
I think we'll leave it at that one. One more question.
So I was the one that raised my hand over there that got rejected for this song. So I'm wondering why. Because I already have a YouTube show. Can I say the name of the YouTube show? Because maybe that's what disqualifies.
No.
And then maybe also I auditioned with the wrong character. So I was wondering if maybe I could do a second audition and redeem myself.
Oh, Dan, look, we're out of time.
Everybody here, if you're wondering who the different characters are and how you're the closest to them, we got a QR code up here. Just if you want to take a look at it and see which character you can be on the Svengoolie show. And with that, I'd like to cut to a little song just for you. We were practicing this outside. You guys go work with me here.
all for